So hello everyone, today we are starting or we will be discussing basically advanced prompting techniques. So in this session I will be telling you about some advanced prompting techniques such as zero shot, few shot, chain of thought, persona prompting and all. I will be showing you a document in which I will also provide the document in the description also, so that you can basically download it and read it any time like you want, and you can watch this video also. I will be explaining each and every type of prompting in this single video only. So let's begin. So basically there are majorly three types of prompting I have written here. So one is chain of thought prompting, then the second one is few shot prompting, and the third one is persona prompting. So now what is chain of thought prompting? Now chain of thought prompting, you can say like you have a mathematical problem with you and you want a solution for that with the AI. So after giving that problem, you will write this statement with that, like think step by step before answering. Yeah, you will force the AI to reason through logic before giving a final answer. Like you will ask the AI before framing the answer or before concluding the answer. You should properly analyze the answer, properly provide the logic behind the answer you gave, everything. So this is known as chain of thought prompting. After this we have few shot prompting. Now what is few shot? Whenever you using craft framework, you gave like the whole prompt. Now after the prompt, you in the context window only, you added 2-3 examples of the like you can say of scenarios, like in this scenario the answer would be this. So this is these kind of examples you added in the context. So this is known as few shot prompting. Then is persona prompting. You are forcing AI to act as a personality or act as a role. Like here in example you can say you are a senior copywriter at Nike. So this is our role basically. Now let's visit that document which I have prepared for you all. So basically we have prompt engineering techniques. I will provide this whole document. In this document you will be provided with the examples of that prompting, the whole definition of that prompt. You will get everything. So now what is zero shot prompting? There is one more prompting technique, that is zero shot prompting. Zero shot prompting is similar to few shot prompting. In few shot prompting you give examples, but in zero shot prompting you do not give any kind of examples. So let's read it. Now zero shot prompting is a technique where the model is given only the task or instruction without any examples. As I told you, the model relies entirely on its pre-trained knowledge to generate the response. So characteristics you can read, like no examples are provided, simple and fast it is, then best suited for straightforward tasks, relies on the model's existing knowledge. Now here the example we have, like summarize the following paragraph in one sentence. Paragraph will be artificial intelligence transforming industries by automating repetitive tasks, improving decision making and enabling personalized experience across healthcare, education and finance. So here we have not provided any kind of example regarding the output, like the output should be like this, anything regarding to that. And so the output will be the artificial intelligence is revolutionizing industries by automating tasks and improving decision making across multiple sectors. This is the simple output. Expected output will be like this. Now advantages. What are the advantages of zero shot prompting? It is very easy to write. You just have to provide the task. Then is quick execution. It's then works well for common tasks like summarizing. Here is basically common application, translations, question answering, grammar correction, text classification. In these cases you can use zero shot prompting. And what are the limitations of zero shot is output format may vary, then less reliable for specialized or structured tasks. Like if you require if you have some cases in which the output should be like that, for that you have to provide examples, but in zero shot you do not provide examples, but that is only for few shot. So here basically the disadvantage is you do not provide example, you solely rely on the pre-trained models response. So now let's see few shot prompting in detail. Now what is few shot prompting? Now few shot prompting provides the AI model with a small number of examples before asking it to solve a similar task. These examples teach the model the desired format, style or reasoning pattern. As I told you before, like in the context window only, using the craft framework, you provide the you with the input, you provide the models that you have to you have some examples, you have to provide the answer in this way, or in these cases you have to provide this answer. So this is known as few shot prompting. Now let's have some examples of few shot prompting. Like determine the sentiment of each sentence. Then example 1 we have provide sentence 1, I love this movie, then the sentiment will be positive in this case. Example 2 will be sentence is this food tastes terrible, sentiment will be negative. Then example 3 is sentence will be the package arrived on time, sentiment will be neutral. Then now classify. The main task is here. Sentence is the laptop performs well, but the battery drains quickly. Now the AI has to detect the sentiment. So the expected output will be neutral because as per the examples provided, this case lies in the neutral section. Here basically nothing like positive, nothing like negative has been discussed. The laptop performs well, but the battery drains quickly. Here basically the positive also discussed, here basically the negative part is also discussed. So the response the AI gave is neutral. So this is known as few shot prompting. What are the advantages of few shot prompting? Is more accurate than zero shot, then produces consistent formatting, then is easy to customize, it is very easy to customize. Then limitations are requires carefully selected examples. Like in the context window you have to every time provide, or you have to check your examples perfectly so that the AI should not get confused. Then is longer prompts increase token usage. Yes, that is also right. Like whenever you are generating some images or things, each and every prompt token is being counted. So like giving context to any kind of model increases the token limit. Token limit means suppose you have written this prompt in zero shot. So this prompt in zero shot. So the number of words you can say is the number of tokens which would be going to the models. So in zero shot we don't provide any kind of examples, that's why the token is very less. But in few shot we do provide some examples which increases the number of tokens in the input. So that's why it has a very you can say disadvantage or limitation, that it requires like longer prompts increases the tokens. Basically it requires examples, that's why the examples increases the number of tokens in the input, which can cost you. Then is common applications are sentiment analysis, you can use in sentiment analysis, named entity recognition, then is JSON formatting, then is information extraction if you are doing, then data labeling. Now chain of thought prompting. Now what kind of prompting is this? As I told you earlier, whenever you want or you are solving a mathematical problem or any kind of problem, but you want the AI to properly provide a logic, or before answering properly analyze the answer, properly provide the logic behind that answer, that prompting is known as chain of thought prompting. Let's read the definition. Now chain of thought prompting encourages the model to work through a problem step by step before producing the final answer. This approach is particularly useful for tasks involving reasoning, planning or calculations. Now characteristics are encourages intermediate reasoning, then is improves performance on complex problems, then is best for multi-step tasks. Now let's see an example. A shop sells a notebook for rupees 80. Prompt is Rahul buys 5 notebooks and pays with rupees 500. Work through the calculation carefully before giving the final answer. How much change should Rahul receive? Now what will the expected output? Cost of notebooks is equals to 5 into 80 is equals to 400. Change is equals to 500 into minus 400 is equals to 100. Then final answer is 100. So as you can see, it not giving the answer directly, it broke the answer step by step. Basically it does not directly give you the final answer is 100 without giving the logic how the AI approached this answer. So this kind of step by step answering, or this kind of approach, is achieved through chain of thought reasoning or chain of thought prompting, we can say. Now what are the advantages of these kind of promptings? Are chain of thought prompting is better reasoning, fewer logic mistakes, useful for mathematical and analytical problems. Now limitations are longer responses you will get, that the output token will be longer, then may not be necessary for simple tasks. For production system, requesting concise reasoning or just a final answer is often preferable. So these are some limitations of this kind of prompting. Now common applications are, you can use this kind of prompting in mathematics, coding, logical reasoning, business analysis, decision making. So our last prompting is persona prompting or the role prompting. You are asking the AI to get a persona of something, and before answering, or get a role of something. Basically, let's read the definition. Persona prompting assigns a specific role, identity or expertise to the AI before asking it to perform a task. This influences the tone, style and depth of the response. Now let's read an example. Now you are a senior career counselor. So the here senior career counselor is a persona which we are saying AI to act as, with 15 years of experience helping computer science students advise a third year engineering student who wants to become an AI engineer. Now expected output will be, to become an AI engineer, focus on learn Python thoroughly, study machine learning fundamentals, master deep learning, learn large language models, then build real world AI projects, then basically contribute to GitHub, then is complete internships, create a strong portfolio. So basically it answered as a computer science counselor or a career counselor, senior career counselor, and basically arranged all the steps step by step, like first learn Python thoroughly, then study machine learning fundamentals. So basically it answered using the persona of a senior career counselor, how a senior career counselor would guide to a basically a third year engineering student. So now what are the advantages of persona prompting? Basically persona prompting, you can say, when we read the craft framework, the role, the R which was for role, basically comes or the persona prompting comes under the craft framework only. The role by default is considered as the persona prompting, or makes the prompt as a persona prompting technique. So advantages are expert level responses, appropriate tone, audience focused communication. Limitations are, depends on how clearly the persona is defined. Overly restrictive personas may reduce flexibility. Now what are the common applications? So the customer support, teaching, healthcare, education, marketing, career guidance, technical documentation. Now let's study comparison of prompting techniques. So I have provided a graph also, a table, like what are the differences in each type of prompting. If you read this table only, you will understand. So let's see zero shot, few shot, chain of thought, persona. So provide examples. So in case of zero shot we don't provide examples, but in case of few shot we do provide examples. Chain of thought, it is optional. Persona, it is optional. Then assign a role. In zero shot we don't assign a role. In few shot we don't assign a role. In chain of thought we don't assign a role. In persona we can assign a role. Then encourages reasoning. In zero shot we don't encourage reasoning, but in few shot we encourage reasoning sometimes. Then in chain of thought, yes, we encourage reasoning. Then in persona, sometimes. Now in which cases each type of prompting is best for, like in simple tasks zero shot is best, then in pattern learning few shot is best, then in complex reasoning chain of thought is best, then in expert style responses persona prompting is best. Then is prompt length. In zero shot we have the shortest length we can achieve, then in few shot we get a medium length of prompt, then in chain of thought we get a medium to long, then in persona we get a medium length of prompt. So here is a you can say scenario and the recommended technique. I have provided a table, you can say. Then is combining prompting techniques. In practice these techniques are often combined. So best practices, conclusions. So I will provide you this whole document so that you can master the prompt engineering concepts by reading this document only. So I will meet you in the next lecture where basically we will be creating our own personal prompt library. I will tell you how to create this, and I will provide a document also in that class about where in that basically a collection of prompts are there for each kind of industry. So thank you, and I will meet you in the next session.